I make simple analysis. I'm like, you know what are the top 5 people doing in the world? And the top 5 people were doing internet. We are living in the internet time. It's not rocket science. These things in curves and all, you can tell that the next wave is coming to Africa. And so to the young people, it's a matter of just positioning ourselves. I bet you haven't done the ghetto experience, but that's something you need to look forward to. Get to know about the ghetto government. The ghetto actually has a government. This thing of His Excellency Bobby Wine is real. Really, it's having the attitude that it's our time. It's our time to create great value for community. And I just remember editing the flyer and putting fully booked. It was one of the most satisfying things. Anyway, but I'm so happy to be here. Very exciting, especially to be on this platform, because I'll share, this is one of the things that I value so much, just talking to young people, because I feel they will relate to me because we are very hopeful. We want so much out of life. We still have these exciting dreams. So I normally find it very welcoming. And
where did that famous T that we keep on seeing around, that T for Tobayo Travel, where did it start from? Where did this journey begin?
So this T is really to mean, there's like a T that stands for Tobayo. So you see, it goes all around. This was really to give perspective of what the internet company means. We joined just at the breakout of digital and internet business in Uganda. Most businesses were still physical location. They were still operating and selling to the neighborhood and community. You needed an office, but we're like, an office can be limiting. You have a specific number you can serve per day, and how many people can walk into an office per day. And so me, I was always excited about the potential of internet. I make simple analysis. I'm like, you know what are the top 5 people doing in the world? And the top 5 people were doing internet. So I'm like, let me just get into the internet. So I asked myself, what can I start on first? And now I use the economics background to help me decide on what industry to get in first. So I noticed a gap in the service industry. And then when I looked through the fastest growing industries in the service industry, travel was the fastest growing.
How did you build your team?
When I joined Taxify right after branding, I saved off enough money. With Taxify, I had saved off close to 30 million. So I have enough. I feel like, because I was a young guy, I have over 30
Brian,
million.
I think you didn't share the Taxify story with people, just to give people a little bit of context, how you got that 30 million from Taxify.
One day I'm visiting my brother at Nana Hostel, and I'm supposed to go back with the taxi because it's cheap, it's 1K to the park, taxi park, and then I go to Entebbe. So before I leave, he tells me, hey, why don't you use this app? It's a new thing in town. It's only 1K to where it was 3,000 shillings. So I'm curious, how does the border take just 1K from Nana to the park? They were charging 1K for every journey and then compensating the price for the, paying the other money. So I give him 1K, Taxify doubles it. So now I look at this scenario, I'm like, what? This is a win for the customer, win for the border. This should disrupt Kampala. So because I had started IG Uganda, it was, picking up, people were following. I had over 5,000 followers. Then I quickly noticed there's an opportunity here. If I didn't know about it, I'm sure so many people didn't know about it. Let me go to the Taxify office, get into there and tell them how I'm willing to promote them for more people to earn, for more people to get to know about them. Maybe then I earn some money in influencing. Before influencing was even such a thing. So I get to the Taxify office. I have nothing in my hands, no letter, no proposal, nothing. I didn't know anyone, but I simply Googled Taxify office in Bugolobi. I get in there. Of course, I knew the first thing was just ask for a manager and tell them you have this many people that you can influence to use their product. It's like, Brian, we don't need customers. We need borders instead. So I make quick math. I'm like, yeah, but if you need the borders, since I know that the borders are also winning, I can get you the borders as well. So he tells me, okay, if you can get me the borders, how many can you get me? I make quick math. I'm like, if a border stage has about 50 people, if I do 2 stages per day, that's 100. Maybe in 10 days, I have 1,000. He then asks me, how are you going to do it? And here's one thing, I trust me, they will make room for you. And that's how they let me in. And then the guy tells me, okay, well, you've convinced me, but we're not paying you up front. You're going to go out there, bring these borders. So I asked him how much he's paying, and then he says he's paying 30K per border. In my head, I was blown out, and I'm like, this is just money, you know? So of course, I have the money now. I simply put a call of if a developer come through, let's develop. Guys come randomly, have me some salary of 500K. I thought that was affordable, you know, looking at the money I had. And I didn't even know how long the work takes. So I just got into that. And in about 6 months, all the money had run out. We had no product. So while I'm there, I receive an email of, hey, I want to intern at your company. My name is Bonnie Watt. I'm from, I just completed my diploma from Saipali. Like I want to work with Python and pull off something. I'd always wanted to build something like Facebook and all. So when I see your project, it's not the normal WordPress, so I'm excited to get on it. The guy keeps bugging me until one day I give in. I'm like, let me meet him and tell him, hey, there's no money here. If you want to contribute. We have a big vision we are working on. But if you don't want to work, that's all right. So the guy comes through. We meet in Tinder at Kawa to go. I take him through the product. I'm like, this is why the other one had stopped. But the goal is to make it work. And I tell him the whole vision and the dream of serving over 1 million people on a platform. That would be very meaningful for Uganda. So he buys onto the vision. And I wasn't even paying him, you know. So he starts to, I'm like, yeah, you can always come in. So we move out of Equatorial after like 2 months. And I had a friend at Yuri. I go there and we ask for a place. I'm like, I have a product we're developing. We just need a location here. And that's how we get our other venue to work from. So I get with all of this, I really start to see how the universe plays its part in getting your idea out there. All these places we're getting to were not paying rent. This is someone I met a long time ago. He was head of IT. He has a big lab. I simply go to him and I'm like, we need a place to work from. And he gets us a free place to work from, you know? So we've been struggling with 400. Now we get a place with Wi-Fi, SC. It's a beautiful place, free to work from. And that's why the guy sits and keeps working on the product. That was there. I put seeingtwy.com, but it wasn't working. So I put it up on Instagram, just make flyers, put it up on Instagram. And in the first week, we get no booking. So, the whole hustle continues. I'm doing branding. I'm expecting to make our first trip in travel. It's not working out. So the second week, I give it a shot. I put it up again. And this time I get 2 people who booked at the start of the week. That whole week goes by and it's just the 2 of them. And on Friday, I want to tell them how the trip won't happen because, we didn't get the other people. So I come up with a lie. I'm like, hey, you had booked a trip, but we got a big group that wanted to go alone, and there were 10. They covered all the slots. We can't squeeze you anywhere. We are going to have to refund your money, But then they buy into it, and they're like, what? And I really want to go to Wild Waters. Do you have another one next week? And in my head, I'm thinking, I'm not trying again. These 2 times have been enough. I'm not doing the 3rd time. So I tell them, yes, next week there's another trip. Like, you know what? Keep the money. We'll join in next week. And I'm thinking, no, I can't do this again. But then I gather myself up. The following week, I decide to go all in. I make the flyers. I send them to almost 100 Facebook groups. I send them to like everyone in my contact list. I'm like, put for me on your status. I go all out. And on that first day, I get all the 8 remaining people. And I just remember editing the flyer and putting fully booked. It was one of the most satisfying things. So while doing that, I noticed that we needed to be very inspiring for people to be attracted to our mission. So that's how we ended up having things like Fill Up Uganda Airlines. When I see Uganda Airlines and everyone is bashing it, yeah, their Rolexes and Obama Nyompiragwa, Uganda Kuvako, those funny names that they were doing with Uganda Airlines. We decided to do something different and create a Fill Up Uganda Airlines campaign. It was very inspiring. So many kids in university started taking the excitement and love for the brand. Who are these young people trying to do these hard things, trying to do things that are inspiring, getting into work? So I believe those are really some of the values that attracted guys to our brand, and that's how we built our team, and that's how we started our revenues.
Thank you, Brian, for sharing that with us. For how Tuvayo has moved through all these through all these mountains and hills and valleys. What opportunities do you think are there in the future for the youth, and how do we get ourselves ready to take up these opportunities?
It's not rocket science. These things in curves and all, you can tell that the next wave is coming to Africa, you know. And so to the young people, it's a matter of just positioning ourselves. How we position ourselves, it's just being open to work, you know. Get out there, be willing to put value out there. Just know there's going to be a wave. Just like, you know, you grow up the old and then the young come and take over. This is how the world works as well. It is time for Africa. I think that's one of the things that should excite guys, that people are looking for opportunities in Africa, because, you know, when you talk to your friends who are, you know, studying in Europe and America, they'll tell you how it's so hard to get opportunity that side, you know. And when they look back at what's in Africa, everything is opportunity. Really, it's having the attitude that it's our time. It's our time to create great value for community. But we are living in the internet time. Back then, to do big business in travel, you needed to be a company that's lucky to have capital, to have cars, to have a hotel, you know, and to have the money to market outside, to go for a conference and market your product. Those were the people that were lucky to do big business. Those are the Madvans, the people that owned Chove, you know. But today, someone on the Nile that is hosting a tubing experience on Tuvayo has almost an equal opportunity to get the clients who can view, who have Tuvayo on their phones in Europe, you know, that can book in big numbers. Yeah, so this is really a general answer, but for me, that's what I tell to like the youth who are just getting into travel. Now you don't need money to first start up an office. All you need is a profile on Tuvayo. I'll tell you, there's a ghetto guy that, you know, that was doing normal stuff, collect scrap, do whatever, but, you know, he dropped out of school early in his P7, and now he hosts the ghetto experience. And on a good week, he will take 10 people, each person paying 50K. He's earning 500,000 in one day. That's the opportunity that the internet is giving to the youth. Hosting a Kampala city tour experience, just walking around the city. You know, you host like 4 foreigners, each is paying $40. You're making $160 instantly, 2 hours. This is the future of work. You know, at home there is a car, Uber. There's no more like writing and going around looking for a job. Get onto the Uber app, start driving. You know, there's an opportunity for youth to make money. One, it gives me great joy that so many youth are earning from our platform. And this is something I keep telling the team. We don't earn a lot of money yet, you know, but it will come, you know. If we keep creating this value that we are giving to the community, it will come. You know, I keep telling them examples of people who are earning 5 million, 3 million from our platform in a week. You know, we are enabling families earn money. So I keep telling, let's just keep working. Let's enable these guys. Let's create much more opportunity. And the money will come. So that really, we were really diversifying the products in tourism. And that's the beauty with internet. We can put as many products on one platform. Before then, people knew travel to be just safaris or to go and see waterfalls. But, you know, there is a big opportunity in people, you know, travel, just cultures and the uniqueness of communities. So these ghettos, they present a big opportunity in travel, not just for the foreign customers, but even for us, the locals. We want to know, how does it happen in the ghetto? I bet you haven't done the ghetto experience, but that's something you need to look forward to. Get to know about the ghetto government. The ghetto actually has a government. This thing of His Excellency Bobi Wine is real. You know, there's a government that is a minister in charge of tourism in the ghetto. Get to learn how it's structured. You know, how they are, you know, the weed and how they are earning the money, where they are staying, how they do their music. It is exciting stuff if you get to spend time and do that experience. You learn how they do their music, where Bobi Wine came from to start inspiring so many people. There is a lot of hope in the ghetto. You know, what their values are. It's just something that I think everyone should do. A friend of mine, she owns a charity organization that's helping people in the ghetto read. And then I thought to myself, why don't we create a new business model around this? So it was very exciting. She got so excited, and then we created a package. So when you book this ghetto, this books and bits experience, you celebrate with the communities that she has worked with. And on top of celebrating with the communities, that contribution, the money you paid, all goes to the organization, the charity organization, to buy books and also to show you the work they're doing. It's a meaningful experience to us to know that we've created a sustainable way this organization can keep running without just depending on external donors.
I think it's amazing that you've been able to take something like tourism. People used to think that tourism is only going to Queen Elizabeth National Park, but you've made it whole through these different experiences. I mean, Tuvayo has boxing experiences, it has these gun ranges experiences, it has these community outreaches. So you're really diversifying you're redefining what tourism is to more than just wildlife, but to immersing yourself into a community. And I think that you're doing amazing work. As an entrepreneur, do you support involving family in business? Is it advantageous or disadvantageous? Then there's another question that was sent to my DM. How are you able to remain committed? And are there any other sectors aside from tourism that you feel have a gap to fill, that have a gap to fill? So the first question, you can answer the first to do with branding, then the question about family.
Good. So about branding, like I earlier told you how I got branding was like my first work. I worked with my dad to do printing and branding, and even though I say I got frustrated, it's probably the most. When I look back now and connect the dots, just like Steve Jobs says, you don't connect the dots looking forward, but branding is what has given us an edge. I was able to design this platform with the softwares I had learned, Illustrator and Photoshop, and it was so easy for the computer guys, for the coding guys to get it done. And also to make our thing appealing. This is something I learned from branding. So I can't put how much value, that got me. But now that I know everything was aligned to fit this, I'm so grateful for branding. I see how businesses suffer with it, and then back then while I was living branding, I was just, I feel like, like there was nothing good in this. But now that I'm doing Tuvayo, I appreciate how much branding plays in, putting a company out there and how people feel about it. So how I got the branding right, it's because of my experience. I did branding before, so it aligned to put the product out there. And then the other bit about working with family, I think everyone should work with family because that's what I know. I work with my brother, Boris. And for those who know, when someone just gets in, of course, it seems like, okay, there's going to be a family affair here. But I'll tell you this, Boris will outwork everyone on the team. Everyone. Like it's right there. So, and I don't know, maybe is it because it's family? If it's because it's family, then that's great, work with family. But I think you need to give anyone that's open to work a chance. That's one thing I learned. The person that helped code and put our product out on the market, he's a diploma guy from Saipali. I was only looking out for Makerere guys who had done computer science. But because I had no option, I simply let in whoever was willing to commit time. And guess what? These are the people that got the work done. So when it comes to creating a team and people to work with, be open-minded. Even a kid can help do that for you. As long as someone is willing to put in time, that should be your only thing to consider. Be open-minded. These guys you think, good school, great degrees, they're going to disappoint you. How I remain committed, I think this is just discipline, really. As a person, your values, you need to have a discipline, But from earlier on, I set a goal, I set a vision. This we are, we're very far away from that, but we see it, and want to do it. So discipline really will help you stay committed.
Where can they find Tuvayo? Where can they direct these questions? Because people are asking, how do you join Tuvayo?
Just get onto our website, tubayo.com, go to the contact page. There is an email there, and then just send an email. Remember my thing with Taxify where I just walked in and wrote something. We are open to that. If you come and meet the amazing team today at Tubayo, you will be blown away. People are getting stuff done. Kids, we have like Prima, Alvin, Gerard on hosting. These are like the most, I don't know, they're just great about how we set ourselves apart from the competition. You can't really care about the competition, one, because they don't put money on the table. They are not the guys paying you. So how you set yourself apart from the competition, care for the customers. These are the guys that are bringing the money, and then just work hard. So that's a very important one because we've gotten so many people that have copied our model. They're coming up with all these things. But how we've stayed on top is because we focus on the customers, because that's where the win is. So focus on the customers and keep innovating.
Thank you, all of you who have attended this session, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. The ball is in your court. You can either choose to build for your locality or you can build for Africa. Have a blessed night, everyone.